What's going on, everyone? You guys, hey, this is On the Floor with Liv and Cor. I'm Cor, that's Liv. And this is another episode that we're so excited to bring to you. Did you miss us?
Have
Because we
missed
missed you.
you.
Yeah. Liv, hey,
Hey, babes.
happy birthday week.
Thank you.
28 looks fantastic on you.
I mean, my skin looks healthy. My lip gloss is popping.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Wait, speaking of lip gloss, on a couple episodes this past season, I remember you like actually ordering lip gloss that was suggested by
I
some
bought it.
we have. Is there a favorite? Do we like where are we at? Where's today's lip gloss trend tip of the day?
I am so glad you mentioned that. I unfortunately don't have lip gloss next to me, which I say I always do, and I don't. So, oops. But when we did our episode previewing Big Tens, Alexa Rothenbuscher from Maryland told me to get the Jisoo honey oil lip oil, and I bought it. Fabu. Fabu. On my nightstand. I love her. Like, I go to bed with juice injected in my lips.
Shout out to Alexa for all of the lip gloss dreams.
So good. The other one I'm obsessed with right now is an Ula Hendrickson. It's like their cocoa one that I have on right now. If
You,
I was an influencer, I'd be like showing it to you if you're on YouTube, like I'm doing the like hand thing, whatever. It's fabulous. Highly recommend.
yeah, you don't need lip gloss next to you because I can tell that there is lip gloss on your lips.
It's good.
It looks
So
so good. It looks so good. Yeah. Well, yeah. Did you have a good birthday, by the way?
I did. I had a fabulous birthday. I had Dunkin' that morning, duh. And then my fabulous colleague Raquel brought me a 25 count of munchkins. So all my coworkers and I got to have Dunkin' munchkins. And then my lovely boyfriend took me to dinner at a fabulous restaurant in Chicago called Tredita, which is like a special occasion Italian place. And we ate real good. And it was
I
great.
love it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. You got so many great shout outs on Instagram too, and it was so cute.
Oh, it
That's
was I felt very loved. It was such a lovely day.
well, good, good. Okay, well, you guys, so we haven't talked to you since our NCAA preview and doing 20 interviews the 3 days prior to leaving for Fort Worth. So, as you can imagine, we have still been recovering, but Um, we are here and we are not planning to go anywhere, and we have lots of fun, cool things planned that we want to just keep chatting with you about college gymnastics. And I think that there's so many cool stories and conversations to be had surrounding in the off season that like why would we stop? So if you were wondering if all of your college gymnastics dreams and the time that you spend investing in college gymnastics is over until January, you're wrong. You're wrong. So we'll be here. And as you know, our friends over at Gymcastic, they have a great podcast over the year that they never stop as well. So there's so much gymnastics content pumping out. So yeah, we're going to be around. So with that, Olivia, we had an idea for you all. We have two objectives on this episode.
Bubbles.
Well, we have to hit bubbles because we have now been called out that we didn't do bubbles on our 20 interviews. But quite frankly, it just wasn't in the budget. It wasn't in the budget.
LaCroix.
It's
Hello. Can
hello.
we can we hear from even I'm talking Kirkland?
Yeah.
Like hello. I'm talking Topo Chico, like
Pol-
Coca-Cola. Hello.
Polar Seltzer.
Yeah.
We're here.
Hello.
We're here. It's actually kind of crazy that we're this far into this podcast journey and we haven't asked for a sponsorship yet, but it's just
I've
not what
emailed.
it's not what it's been about because you have
Oh,
your fridge at work.
I've emailed. Trust me.
Oh, she's like,
To
I
no
have to,
avail, but I've emailed.
right, I have to stop stealing from my work fridge.
Yeah, I did that again today too.
It's amazing. It's
I
amazing.
mean, I'm running out of flavors if I'm being totally honest, but
Well,
I
shout out to your workplace for providing nonstop new flavors.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, she's right. Before we get to the two objectives of this episode, let's bring up our bubbles. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. This is like a very classic. So, I'm planning a trip to Europe in September for a
Period.
wedding. And so I'm in like my very like, European lifestyle right now. And I feel like a Perrier in the glass bottle just really encompasses that. So
She did the ASMR.
yeah, ASMR. So we're really doing a Perrier in the glass bottle today.
But I love that. I
I
love
know.
Perrier.
It makes me feel really elevated if I'm being totally honest.
Honestly, might go buy a 6 pack of glass bottle Perrier.
Yeah.
And then I'll recycle it. Don't worry.
Oh, I always recycle.
Yeah. Okay, my choice today is raspberry bubbly. Went with the
Oh,
raspberry. Normally I'm a cherry or a blackberry guy with the bubbly, but today we went raspberry. It feels a little summery and it's nice and sunny here in Seattle today.
cute. All right. I'm thirsty, so
Okay. Yeah, it's 3, 2, 1, go. Cheers, babe. Happy birthday. Okay, two objectives, you guys. Objective number one, we're gonna go through our predictions for NCAAs and we're gonna figure out how wrong we were. And by figure out means we know how wrong we were, but we just want to like go, we're going to circle back. Okay. Objective number two, we want to provide you as much behind the scenes information that we collected throughout the week that we think you would just find kind of interesting. Like we could go through the competition and give you our opinions, but we're not gonna do that because you have that. You know what happened, you saw it on TV. So we're gonna tell you some behind the scenes stories from athletes and coaches that we heard all weekend long that we're excited to provide you. So Olivia, take us through our predictions and how right or not right we were.
okay, so in our preview episode, you mentioned it, Cory, we had on Scott Bregman and we all talked about nationals. And then at the end, we previewed each individual event winners that we thought could win, an all around winner. And then we went through both sessions and picked the teams that would come out of there and then a winner from the whole thing. So we just kind of picked all over the place. So I'm going to start with vault. Okay, so
You're so right. You were so
because
right. You nailed it.
Olympic order. I'm going to start with vault. And yes, I'm very proud of this because I went back and I watched that episode and I wrote notes. So Scott's pick for vault was Jade. Excellent pick, by the way.
Yeah.
Scott picked Jade Carey. Cory picked Haley Bryant. Liv picked Kaylin Chiu. And Scott's honorable mention was Nikki Smith. I don't want to like give myself the stick crown, but I want to give myself the stick crown.
You deserve it.
I had some gut feeling. And then during the meet, I had a media pass. So I was kind of like in the media area. We would go down on the floor. And at one point, like a lot of the fans and the group were sitting in that like bar area above beam. It's actually a fabulous view. It's great. Like you really can see everything from right there. And so I enjoyed sitting up there. And I looked over to Evan Heider and I said, Chiu's gonna stick. And it was solid. And I was like,
so amazing. It was
she's remarkable.
uh, absolutely. I mean, it was a great stick and they needed it at the time.
They did.
But I do have to give honorable mention to podium training day when LSU had 4 sticks in a row during podium training, and it
Oh my
was
God, it was amazing.
unbelievable. It was so amazing to see what they did. But you were so right. I Jade not sticking that vault, if she had stuck it, she needed a 99375 in order to win the all around. And I think she felt that, but I mean, she had a great all around performance, but we'll get to that. But
Fabulous. So yes, that was vault. I loved the honorable mention to Nikki Smith. Another just shout out to Amy Doyle
yeah,
from Michigan State, freshman, stuck her Yurchenko 1.5. Vault was low. I mean, we didn't see many sticks the whole weekend at all. So I think
Mary,
who's
Mary McDonough.
Mary McDonough stuck. I know that
Okay.
shit.
She,
Shay did stick. She stuck on both days. Was it Danny Ferris from Florida?
that's ringing a bell. Yeah.
Someone from Florida stuck, and it was really nice. And then an athlete from Mizzou, she's a transfer. She does a souk full. She stuck. Elise Tisler stuck, and
Mm.
it was fabulous. And then Chiu, Amy, I mean, there were not a lot of sticks. Regardless, the athletes who did stick, like it was fabulous.
Were there any Oklahoma sticks? I'm not remembering.
I don't believe
I
on
don't
day
believe so.
one,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. They were just
All
trying
right,
to get through
well,
ball. They were just trying to
I
get,
know.
yeah,
They were land step forward, which is
yeah.
I would do the same thing. So
Amen. Amen. Okay, that
that
was a good ball. Go to
yeah,
bar.
that was vault. Let's go to bars. So bars, Scott framed it really well. He said, "My heart wants Maddie Williams because I know she can stick that routine brilliantly. My mind says Audrey, and I know that combo right there hurts everyone in the gym turn a little bit because both of those athletes did not have their best days on semifinals day, but I think we can all agree that those are two of our all-time favorites.
Amen.
You said your heart wants Frida, your mind thinks Mara,
Mm.
which was a great pick. And I said that. Sorry. I said Frida Mara, you said Mara Audrey. So we were all in the same like
Yeah.
sphere. It went to Jordan Childs for a lovely routine.
I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, the
That
difficulties
double leg
there, the
gets
difficulties there,
freaking
but that double lay was unbelievable.
unbelievable. The distance and the height is spectacular. And actually, not to get ahead of ourselves and like to talk about some behind the scenes moments, but I was down after like getting some, social footage and I heard Jordan have this moment with Janelle and she said, Janelle, like I wanted my title back. Like I wanted that bars title. I wanted it. And Janelle gave her a big hug. It was like, you did it. And it was really lovely and wholesome. And so I was very excited for her to see her have that in coming back after the Olympic year.
Yeah, I agree. Good bars. There was good bars work over nationals though. There was also,
Great.
yeah,
Also flukes.
flukes. Maddie Williams fluke. Oh,
I know.
my heart.
I know. Okay, let's go to beam.
Hmm.
Scott said Lazan. And let me be honest, that routine she did, I saw not a deduction. I
I,
really
I
didn't.
don't know why it wasn't Lazan.
Lazan was Scott, and you and I, Cory, both said Helen and Lazan.
Yeah.
So the Helen narrative, you and I both said we want Lazan and Helen to tie. That would have been my ideal scenario, if I'm being totally honest. We all know my history with Helen. I adore her till wits end. I just love her so much. She even told me, like, she gave me the biggest bear hug after, and she was like, I almost scraped my butt on the beam on that dismount. And I was like,
You
girl,
did.
you were scared the crap out of
Yeah.
me. But Lazan's beam truly 100% not because like we all love Cal and we have a relationship with the coaches and care deeply for them. That routine was underscored and I will stand by it.
I can't even talk about it.
I know. It's very frustrating and Liz
That's
Howell like bowing to her at the end. I mean, it's too much for me. I can't.
okay. So that double full, it's like the way that earlier in the season we were talking about like how Haley Bryant's height and distance on her vault is like gold standard. Lazan's double full is just so gorgeous and so beautiful, and no one does it like that. And yeah, I just am gonna miss it. Something of note while we're talking about balance beam and talking about Helen, I need for more people to be talking about her celebration after her beam routine.
Okay, so I have some back end of that.
Tell us.
So I don't know if any of you know, but Helen's competed many mounts, both in club before a lot of people knew who she was, and then in college. She did the round off, like swing down into the Valdez for a while. She did what she does now, which is like the split mount and then get up into the, beautiful archy shindig. And the round off, like back handspring to her chest was in her club floor routine and it was a flow routine. Like it was very like sultry and like she was 13, so it was hilarious. And at the end of this routine, she did a round up to a scarily high backhand spring onto her chest, like to the point where people were like, like thought she was gonna land on her head. And it was it was brilliant. Like a la Kathy Johnson Clark put it on a stamp. It was brilliant. And so seeing her do that on the mat was just amazing.
So
And
good.
same thing with the kick, the split kick down, that was in her floor routine in club. So both of those were Irina routine, like moves that Irina put in Helen's routines that were signature throughout her entire club career. And then I think she did a couple, like a little in college, and then I know she stopped doing floor. But yeah, those are like her base. That's like coded, Helen coded from like childhood.
I love it. I love it. I mean, her beam routine, her final beam routine, and Lazan's final beam routine, like I just like sat there and I held my arms close to my body and I just took it in and I watched them take it in. And you could see the waves to the crowd, the just gratitude that they held. It actually was very Nora Flatley laced when Nora finished her beam routine and then she walked up and it kissed the end of the beam on her final beam routine ever. And it just is so cool because it I can see the presence that they have in that moment of soaking it all in. And that's all you can ever want for these athletes is to have that moment and feel it deeply. So, oh, great.
We talk about the booze when she didn't get a 10 on day two. The day two routine was better than the day one routine, for sure.
Agreed.
And the entire arena booing was amazing.
Amazing. Amazing. No, like everyone being on the same page about a Helen Who score being wrong is perfect. It's
I mean,
exactly,
it was so good.
it's so
So
good.
good.
It's so good. Okay, let's talk about floor.
Okay, so Scott had Jordan Childs. He said if Jordan has great landings, his exact quote was they would throw five, maybe six tens. I had Brooklyn, Jade, Joss. And you had Jordan, Jade, Connor, and you of course doubled down on Brooklyn for sure.
Mhm.
But you added in there Connor, which we were all like, "Ooh, that's spicy." I don't think any of the three of us have any ounce of sadness for who did win that title. And can we talk about the vid when Liza, the SID at UCLA, when Liza tells her that she won and there's that video of her showing Brooklyn the phone and she hits the deck
Yeah, it's
rent
amazing.
rent free.
I have to say, the reason I didn't throw Brooklyn into my prediction was because I just cannot keep track of what these judges have been doing with her routines over the year.
True.
And I think that there were some other, I don't know, I was believing in these moments that we have seen reflected in scoring with these names, right? Like I agree with Scott. Five or six tens for Jordan Childs felt very plausible, right? The newness of a Connor McLean floor routine and a two-pass routine that has pretty much zero built-in deductions into her gymnastics because of her flawless technique. I can see the judges throwing it for, a former US champion, right? So I think that's kind of where my head was at. And it's no shade to Brooklyn. It's just more of like plausibility and trying to be correct in this prediction. But like,
Totally.
are you joking me? We are Brooklyn stands here.
Duh. Can we also talk about how her routine in Four on the Floor was better than the one she did in quals? And even like sticking the Rudy solid. Oh my God. It was just so good. Like I just you know how we both feel about Brooklyn Moore's.
Yeah.
In our conversation when we were talking in that episode, we both mentioned Maya Hooten as well. But to your point about talking about like the plausibility of things, we acknowledged that she was early on first rotation of the first meet,
Yeah.
which is a horrible thing that we even have to say when
Yeah.
we're talking about, but it
Okay, we're gonna pause on the Hooten topic because Hooten is absolutely that story is one we're gonna cover in the behind the scenes.
Okay, let's keep going then to all
Yeah.
around.
Sorry.
Okay, all around, I had Jade and Leanne.
Mhm.
Scott had Jade and Haley. You had Jade and Jobo. You were so spot on. And I remember after the Seattle regional, you said to me, like, OU is like not the OU everyone knows where they're like, oh, they don't have personality or whatever. It was like loose and fun and whatever. And you said to me, you were like, I don't know. I don't see a scenario where they don't. It's theirs to lose. And I think that's exactly how Jordan competed the entire weekend. I think she went like 39-7 and she didn't stick a ball. I mean,
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. She just looked like she was out there enjoying her last competitions of her life. And it's a testament to like I said this earlier, having that presence and
Yeah.
and being so present, trusting everything, all the work she had put in for so long. We're now seeing on social media like all these young videos of Jordan doing gymnastics. And like I'm even remembering some of these wild tumbling passes that she was throwing down like when she was
Yeah.
younger. She's the real deal. But back to like the after Seattle Regional, here's the honest truth of what I was saying prior to Seattle Regional. I was telling people I'm very curious to see Oklahoma compete 2 times in a weekend because let's admit this season we were seeing some differences in this Oklahoma team. We weren't seeing constant sticks on vault. We weren't seeing like lights out stick rallies on bars. We weren't, it just wasn't the like, what was their score? 198, like 8-5, that
Right.
whatever. We weren't seeing that. And maybe it was a scoring issue, whatever the case may be. But then as I was watching that unfold, I was like, also recognizing we have 4 all-arounders. There's just an interesting formula there. And so I said, I believe if OU can compete on day one of regionals and or round two of regionals and round three of regionals, and if they can win out both and score well, I think that they're going to win the national championship. Because that was the proof to me is if I could see that happen, we're in. And then, sure enough, they just went and did their job in the semifinal and finals in Fort Worth, and they did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, I mean that beam rotation and four on the floor was an undeniable. We're here, it's ours, move aside. It was brilliant sports, truly, like brilliant.
Totally.
Okay, so then just to run through these because we all know what happened. For our predictions from session one, Scott said OU Florida. Liv said Florida, Missouri. I was getting spicy. Cory said OU Missouri. So bravo to you, Cory. And session two, we all said LSU MSU. And we knew that session two was going to be a bloodbath and just massive kudos to Utah and UCLA. Utah came to freaking play in the last two rotations. They were like, this ain't over till it's over. My Big Ten heart wanted both Big Ten teams. I'm so proud of Michigan State not making it to four on the floor. It does not take away from the spectacular year and program progress they've made.
Yep.
Not seeing LSU at four on the floor felt weird. And it was really hard to watch those incredibly inspirational and impactful seniors and super seniors whom we've seen grow up in the last, they've done just so much more than gymnastics for LSU. It was hard. But I will acknowledge that from being on the floor in the moments of, Florida missing four on the floor and LSU missing, there was nothing but support and joy from, there was sadness, but I talked to Jeremy Miranda after and he goes, I'm so happy for Missouri. Like, obviously, with a gut, like his gut hurt. There was, he was sad. I mean, any human being would be sad, but just the love for the other programs and it was very positive. From what I saw, we all saw that viral moment of Kaylin Chiu and Mother McDiva just having this like heart to heart. And that to me is like exactly what it's supposed to be because we all know that Kaylin will have her fabulous moment. She won a national championship as a freshman. I could go on and on, but a piece of my behind the scenes was that just the energy was of support and uplift and not of drag down. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, the quote from Ashley Nadd, assistant coach at LSU after the meet was, "We just weren't the better team on the floor. Like you have to show up and you have to score in the top two to move on. Like it's
Right.
black and white, and they didn't. And so, you know, I say that because I think letting people hear the perspective from the actual ground of what that was like instead of just
Right.
speculating, what their season was and if they were whatever. The perspectives of the coaches who didn't, qualify on I think that they, understood. They had the best mindset they possibly could have, when they realized they weren't competing on the second day of competition. But you guys, nonetheless, it was a great national championship. They
Great.
did some amazing gymnastics. Um, you know, I was kind of having vibes at the end there with the coming down to UCLA and Oklahoma. I was getting some 2018 vibes when, we had a really close call there with UCLA and Oklahoma. But ultimately, Oklahoma needed to just do their thing on bars in that final rotation, and they were going to win the national championship. And they did. And so congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners for the 2025 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. You guys crushed it. It's amazing. I love the celebrations we're seeing in Norman. I also love that I was watching intimately the week after all of their coaching staff went out and went recruiting for 2027. So it was amazing. But there's some really good stuff happening over there, and I'm really excited. I mean, we know that Audrey Davis is coming back as a student coach next year. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like Olivia Troutman potentially applying for one of these assistant coaching jobs that are popping up around the country. I think she's an incredibly qualified candidate, and having talked to her in one of our interviews, she's an awesome human being, and I think athletes around the country would be lucky to get to have Olivia as their coach. I'm sure, as with many former Sooner athletes, it's gonna be hard to potentially have to leave Sooner Nation in that way. But wherever these incredible former student athletes end up, they're gonna impact our sport in great ways and continue to grow it. So,
Yeah.
um, those were some good callbacks in terms of like I don't think that we were like I was afraid that we were going to sound a little uneducated in our predictions,
We
but
did well. We
I
did
think we
well.
I think we did well. I think we did.
I'm
Um,
impressed by us.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's transition into a little bit of behind the scenes. And this is going to be off the cuff. Olivia and I have not discussed what our behind the scenes um, moments were, but we'll just kind of bounce off of one another. So, okay, I'm going to start with the first one, and it's got to be day one semifinals. Um, Maya Hooten, rocking her Minnesota. Some behind the scenes. Number one, so many of her teammates and past teammates showed up and they did their own send off for her at the hotel. And there was so many Minnesota fans that were there cheering for her, which brought so much joy to my heart. And then in the stadium, in Dickies Arena, when her name was called and Minnesota was talked about, there were people in the stadium wearing Minnesota Golden Gophers gear, rocking it in support of Maya and in support of the University of Minnesota. And I love to see that. I think it was super duper cool, just to see uh, a school being rocked in that way with only an individual competing. There's a lot to be said for that. I also saw a lot of Arkansas Razorbacks gear around, which was also really cool.
That's
But
so good though. Like that's what should be happening. Even if your team that you support isn't there and maybe an individual just is, like you don't know if you'll run into them in the bathroom and it'll mean the world to them. It's so special.
Absolutely. Okay, so the behind the scenes, and Olivia and I both got this information about Maya. So ahead of nationals, we did get the information that Maya was going to be competing her sophomore year floor routine, which, as you can imagine, we were beside ourselves about.
Lost
Just
our minds.
lost our minds.
Honestly, Corey, when you edit this, just put the screenshot here.
Yeah, I will.
It's funny.
It's
It's
here.
really funny. Yeah, we did know.
So we knew that. And then, she was first rotation, first semifinal. And so as we just got to chat with her a little bit more, we talked to her about what she did with her routine. As some of you may know, she did adjust a little bit of her choreography. But here's the behind the scenes I wanted to talk about. So not a lot of people know, but Maya has been nursing or was nursing a little groin flare up. a
Yeah.
little sprain of sorts. And we were chatting with her trainer, and she was like, "Yeah, it's been something we've managed all year." And the skill that really was tricky for her was in her leap pass in her floor routine. It was right when she was going to have to crank that straddle. It just it creates pain. It hurt a little bit. So if you noticed in her warm-ups, she would not do the straddle at all. She was just doing like I don't even remember her exact leap pass, but she would do the first leap and then the connection point, she would just keep her legs still and do the turning element without the straddle itself. So, but one of the things that she did was she re-choreographed her routine so that her leaps were the very last thing that she did. And she told us, she said, "We did that because this is the last floor routine of my life. And I'm going to crank that straddle as hard as I possibly can, even if it means I have to limp off this floor."
And it was Rich's idea. Because I asked, whose idea was this? And Rich was like, me. I was like, are you proud of yourself? Brilliant idea, though. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So they worked with her and they re-choreographed it and it was great. And she did. She cranked that straddle and she did the best she possibly could. And if she was a fourth rotation athlete, I think we could have seen Maya closer to the top of that floor podium for sure, because she slayed that tumbling and it was so good. But I thought it was just interesting to note, the way that the coaches worked with her to really navigate
Yeah.
through, taking care of her body while also knowing she wants to go out strong and she wants to do this. So it was pretty cool.
Her being adopted by Mizzou was so cute too. And I know she's really close with Abby Miller, who transferred from Illinois to Missouri. And she was like in the front of their beam corral. And she told me that she said to a couple of the other athletes, "Hey, do you want me to move there?" Like, girl, no, that's your spot. Like, we've been doing well with you there. Like, you stay there. And she is in all of the photos of them celebrating, making it to four on the floor. And she's like hugging everyone and high fiving. And she told me it was some of the most fun she's ever had because she was done. Her career was done. She
Yeah.
did her routine. She was done. All she said, "I'm just gonna scream my head off for them," and she literally did, and it was amazing. So
Maya
good.
Hooten is a woman of the people, you know what
A
I'm
woman of the people.
saying? And we need her to stick around this sport. I don't care what capacity, I need Maya to be around.
I know. I just adore her.
Yeah. Okay, do you have any behind the scenes you would like to cover?
I'm trying to think of some of my behind the scenes because there were so many good ones. I will say that on Saturday night, so everything's all done, and of course, get a bunch of gymnastics people in one room, and what do? They watch more gymnastics. So a bunch of us were going out to celebrate Scott Bregman's birthday, and Evan Heider had said, "Hey, like come to my room before dinner. We're gonna watch the men's meet." And I don't know if all the gym nerds will know that the men's gymnastics NCAA championship was literally right, like maybe an hour or so started after the women's did. And so everyone is crouched in this room watching, and it was close. It was a good meet. And
I will admit, the first routine we saw when we turned the television on was Paul Judah missing his hand on the pommel. And it
yeah,
was kind of this like emotional moment, right? We also have like Scott Bregman and Evan Heider in the room, Michigan alumni, Olivia, Michigan alumni.
right.
Moment is unfolding. And it was a dramatic start, but it also hooked us in because we're
It
like,
hooked us, and we ended up going to dinner at this fabulous place in Fort Worth called the Wicked Butcher. If you've never been there and you go to Fort Worth, Texas, it's amazing. Like
absolutely.
great. So we ended up going there and we had like the phone sitting up during ordering our drinks, and they ended up winning. Michigan ended up winning, and everyone's cheering and so excited. And then Paul Judah proposes to Reina Gugino on ESPN after they win the title, and Scott goes, "Oh yeah, someone texted me about this and tipped me off about it." I'm like, "And you forgot to mention it. Forgot to mention it." So that was a funny moment for sure. But we had such a fun night that night, just celebrating Scott and celebrating men's gymnastics and specifically our Michigan men, but all of the men. It was really lovely to celebrate. And it's interesting. I hadn't watched a men's meet with individuals in a really long time, and the individuals go first, which I thought was fascinating. So that was just a takeaway of mine that I kind of forgot that individuals at men's NCs go first.
I have been thinking about this and I need to do more research, so this is going to be an incomplete sentence.
Okay.
But I realized that the national championship format was a different competition format than their dual meet matchups because this year they started competing on the same event at the same time, where they would go one athlete from Michigan and say it was like against Oklahoma. They'd go one athlete from Michigan, one athlete from Oklahoma, Michigan, Oklahoma.
You're doing double duel.
But no, but all of them were on P bars.
Oh.
So like that's how they were running their dual meets.
Oh, that
If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that that's what was happening. And then the national championship, obviously they had six teams on the floor, rest in peace Super Six, but yay, Super Six still exists in men's gymnastics.
right?
Um, yeah, I just was like noting that they went back to that format because of the way the championship format was. But I'm
Right.
curious to hear from some men what they think about the dual meet matchup format over the.
We will bring Mr. Judah on to tell us.
Oh, I'm in. I'm in.
I have
Okay.
one other, I'm looking through my photos to like give me inspiration of behind the scenes. I have to tell you all, the Joe T. Garcia's margaritas, you, first of all, they're delicious. Second of all, you can't have more than one.
Olivia and I took a business meeting at Joe T. Garcia's on Friday. Yeah, on Friday.
Friday.
And um we needed to increase the carbs intake before the round two came.
All I'm going to say, you guys, is proceed with caution. Like, ball,
Yeah,
delicious,
yeah,
fabulous. The food there's amazing. I love that it's cash only, like all the things I love about it. Wow.
yeah, for sure. Okay, I have a good behind the scenes that I need you to ride these coattails.
Okay.
The topic is LCH and JCH.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, all season long in our private group chats, we have been referring to Liz Crandall Howell as LCH, but also referring to Justin Howell as JCH, just because LCH, JCH just it fits, right? So at one point in the season, we're like, wait a second, his last name doesn't involve the word Crandall. That's just Liz's last name. But then we're like, no, we're sticking to it. This is forever and always JCH's name. It's JCH, duh. So we're sitting there after the NCAA banquet on Wednesday night and Tuesday night, and we're having we're having food and drinks with LCH and JCH, and Olivia turns to JCH and she's like, I just need you to understand and just know, to us, your name is JCH. And he like smiled and he was like, that's fine. Like the most compliant, peaceful moment. And then, of course, as you can possibly imagine, when me, Olivia, and Scott Bregman get in a room, we just ran with it. And before you knew it, at semifinals, I don't know if anyone.
Go back first though, because he texted all of us the next morning and signed his breakfast voucher JCH. And we all just thought that was great. So then we knew, okay, he's in on it and like thinks this is funny. Proceed.
Yeah, so at semifinals, I'm like, wait a second, should I run with this? I kind of have the power to be able to do this. And knowing, he's already signed his name to a legal binding document such as a breakfast coupon, um, JCH, he's bought in. So what did I do? I went to the MC script, to the PA announcer script, and I said in the script, Maya Lizan and Maddie Williams competing for Cal Berkeley, coached by head coach Liz and Justin Crandall Howell.
May this be the first you hear that the new trend is hyphenating yours and your spouse's names so that it can be, you too can be Justin Crandall. How it was everything. I took a video of it. You texted Scott and I and were like, it's happening.
Capture
Liz
it.
was like, send me that video.
It was iconic. And even if it was just a moment that we just screamed, we squealed, truly. We
So it was
we squealed.
amazing.
It was amazing, and I'm so here for it.
Amazing.
Okay, another behind the scenes. So semifinal one, I had an outfit, kind of forget. Oh, white jacket. Everyone watches women's sports shirt. That's what it was. So I had this jacket on. I don't know if anyone was in the arena, but if you're in the arena was a little on the warm side. So if you can
Not
imagine,
on practice day was a freaking meat locker.
yeah, correct. So which is why it turns out warm, right? Like people like get extreme. They're like, well, we'll show you. And they're like
Right.
85 degrees. Um, so I sweat through that t-shirt in zero point 0.5 of a rotation. So my jacket ended up being zipped up the rest of the rotation. Okay. So I did bring a change of clothes for semifinal two. So my semifinal two outfit had a new pair of Jordan high tops paired with a pullover. Okay. So I hadn't even laced up the Jordan high tops yet. And I'm looking around the floor and I'm like, I've never worn a pair of Jordan high tops before. And I'm like, who on the floor right now could help me know the proper and cool? I was honestly looking for cool. Like, I just wanted to know the coolest person, the coolest way to lace up these high tops so that I can wear them for semifinal two. So naturally, I walk over to the Oregon State Beavers Corral where their videographer has the most robust shoe collection, and I hope everyone now identifies this. But he truly has the most number of shoes of Nike shoes that I've ever seen. And I think part of it is just this whole idea that like he orange and black and white and gray like is of note. Like it's noteworthy when you look down and see it. Um
Right.
and yeah, so it was one of those things. Anyways, so I look over and I'm like, Chris, I need your help. How do I finish lacing these shoes? Like, what do I do? And he was like, oh, I do the loop method. So you like tie the two like loose ends of the laces and you tie a little knot, but then like the two ends point forward. And I'm like, okay, loop method, I'm on board. So I started doing the loop method. My other like shoe at the time just had the little laces like sticking out the side. And Jade Carey turns her head and she goes, well, if you want to bring me good luck, you should lace them up like my shoes, like I wear my shoes. And I'm like, anything for you, Jade Carey. And she was like, no, just leave the two laces just like sticking out like that, and then you'll wear them just like me. And I go, period.
Done.
So if anyone noticed in the semifinals of my Jordans, one of them was laced in honor of Chris, the videographer from Oregon State, and one of them was laced in honor of Jade Carey with the two laces sticking out the sides.
Dang. That's a great one.
Thanks. Thanks. How about some individuals? Do you have any behind the scenes on the individuals? I was thinking about that.
I do have an individual anecdote.
Let's hear it.
I had to pee so bad at one point, like to the point where I was like cross leg bunny hop, like over to the bathroom. And I went in the bathroom and I was like, whatever, doing my thing. And I came out and Isabella Magnelli was standing there. And I was like, hi. And I'm like, I don't know if we've ever met, but I'm Olivia. She's like, I'm Isabella. She's so sweet, more gorgeous in person, if you
True.
couldn't. And she was really struggling to like hook her leotard.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Do you need any help? Like, I'm happy to help you." And she was like, "Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Like, thank you so much." So I was like hooking, and I was like, "This Leo's gorgeous. Like, I've never seen it this up close." She goes, "Thanks, I designed it." And I was like, "Tell me more." Then she goes, "Well, I qualified to nationals last year, and if you as an individual or you as a team qualify, like if there's any qualifiers, that means the next year you get to design a leotard."
Oh, that's cool.
That is such a cool, I don't know if like people know that. And so she was telling me about it. She's like, I did so much research, like, and then I saw this concept, and when they brought the leotard to life, we wore it as a team and I loved it. And so then she got to wear it as the individual,
Love that.
competing in her final meet. And I just thought that was so lovely. And she's just so stinking cute and like it just made my life. So I met
Love that.
Isabella McNally in the bathroom.
I love that. Okay, my final question for you, because behind the scenes is all fun and games, but this has been fun. Final question for you is favorite leotard that was worn at the national championship, individual or team, doesn't matter.
gosh. Wow, that's so hard because there were some.
I'll go first. Mine is the LSU Leo.
It was edgy, and actually, Ashley Nat showed it to me before. It's edgy, and I like it. OU's was classic and elegant on or on the floor day. I don't want to sound biased, so no one come at me. I thought the new Michigan leotard was spectacular
I thought
with
it
the
was really cool.
it was cool, it was different, no one's done it. I was very much impressed by that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
I would say I agree with you though, like the LSU Leo, the OU Leo on the final day, and then that Michigan Leo was just cool. I
I
really,
also like to think that Mizzou wore their Velvet Leo for you.
I kind of thought that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, that was so fun. Oh, NTAs
I
are
love
over.
that. It's making me relive it.
I know, I love it. Well, you guys, like we said earlier, we are going to keep bringing you some behind the scenes, some fun stuff throughout the summer, throughout the fall. We have some exciting interviews planned with some cool people, so we will keep in touch. We're gonna try our best to put out an episode every single week, and because we enjoy this, we have so much fun just helping to keep you guys connected to college gymnastics as best as we can. So, with that being said, Olivia, cheers to you. Cheers, Perrier. Hey, well, way to hydrate. And on that note, I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. Olivia, again, happy birthday. May your 28th year just be filled with magnificent moments. And
Really?
and you guys, I posted the other day on Olivia's birthday that Olivia and I are going to get to be able to see each other for 6 consecutive months because coming up at the end of May, I get to see her. We're going to see Trixie Mattel in Chicago. It's going to be amazing at her Solid Pink Disco. In June, we're working at camp together, and in July, we're working at camp together, and it's going to be amazing. So, with that, this is On the Floor with Liv and Cor. We hope you guys are loving being a part of this awesome community, and we love you. So, with that, peace out. Bye.